Today I will teach you the third rule of the Spanish accents. If you remember, I told you in Spanish there are 4 rules to determine when and how to use the Spanish accent, right? The Spanish accent, in Spanish we call it tilde, ¿ok? El acento en español se llama tilde. The word accent in Spanish has a slightly different meaning than the word tilde, okay? The accent is a syllable, or the accent is the stress on a word. That's the accent. While the tilde is that line that goes on top of the letter, of the vowel, right? Okay, third rule of Spanish accents. When do we have a Spanish accent in addition to the other 2 rules we have previously learned? Question words. Those question words in Spanish we have learned, like por qué, why, cómo, how, quién, who, cuándo, when, dónde, where, okay? All those question words that you are very well familiar with, at least in English, right? Spanish question words, when they are involved in a question or an exclamation, right? Exclamation means a sentence that is in between exclamation marks, okay? Remember that in Spanish we open marks for question sentences and exclamation sentences. Okay, so whenever a question word is inside a question mark or implying a question, okay, or an exclamation, that question word carries a tilde. And that is the third rule of the Spanish tildes. So, I'll give you some examples. The word quién. The word quién means who. Example. ¿Quién te dijo? This means who told you. Who told you? ¿Quién te dijo? ¿Quién te dijo? Okay, so this is a question word. And the question word is carrying a tilde because it's involved in a question, right? So, what other kind of sentences can a question word be involved in if it's not a question, right? Here, I'll show you. Quien quiera venir, que venga. Okay, this is just one example sentence. Okay, here we are using a question word that is not actually working like a question word. Okay, it's the same word as here, but here it doesn't carry a tilde because it's not involved in a question. Quien quiera venir, que venga. So, what does this mean? Whoever wants to come, come. Okay? Whoever wants to come, come. Another example with a question word. The word donde, right? Donde means where, where. So, example. Question word involved in a question. ¿Dónde está? Very basic, simple sentence. ¿Dónde está? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, it's involved in a question, therefore it carries the tilde. Now, let's use the same word, but this time not in a question. And let's see. Donde sea, for example, okay? Donde sea. This means wherever, 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 or whatever, okay? So, wherever means is donde sea. This is not a question, so there is not a tilde here. Wherever it is. Wherever it may be. Donde sea que esté. donde sea que esté, wherever it may be. So, here, the question word is not involved in a question, therefore it's not a question word anymore, and it's not carrying a tilde. Here, it is a question word, it's involved in a question, therefore it carries a tilde. Here we have a tilde, but this has nothing to do with the third rule. This tilde here corresponds to the first rule of the Spanish accents, which I have already taught before, okay? Okay, an example using an exclamation mark, okay? Let's see. How beautiful. How beautiful. Qué hermoso. Okay? The word que means how. Qué hermoso. Here, it's implying an exclamation. Even if the sentence does not include the question marks or the exclamation marks, nevertheless, if the meaning of the word is implying either a question or an exclamation, it does carry the tilde. Qué hermoso. Okay? The Spanish question word que, when it is a question word or an exclamation word, it means what or how, right? Here, the word que, without the tilde, means more like that meaning, okay? The meaning of the word that in English. Okay, so remember, this is the third rule of the Spanish accents or tildes. Whenever we have any question word from Spanish, whatever question word, if that question word is involved in a question or an exclamation, it carries a tilde, okay? And that's the application of the third rule of the Spanish accents. So this is all for today's class. Don't forget to send me any questions if you have any. I'm posting tests and quizzes to my website, so you can go ahead and practice or do an assessment and see how well you're doing in Spanish. Okay? So thanks for watching, and next we will learn the fourth and last rule of Spanish tildes. Goodbye.